Now let us come to the other values. We are talking of discipline, productivity, cooperation, integrity, responsibility, professionalism, honesty, and also we had talked about diligence, resourcefulness, being a conscience person with a conscience, being reliable, how everything has social and human and environmental effects, reliability, and then we discuss these things. Now let us come to few other which are we have left out. Punctuality and time management. Punctuality is time management, we will discuss in great length, because that is we will discuss punctuality and time management, cleanliness, law abidingness, rational thinking and scientific temper in details. But rest we may not talk in details. So, other things I am introducing. So, punctuality and time management, this we will deal in details, but let me just touch upon what is punctuality and time. Now, punctuality is basically respecting your own time and respecting the time of others. Suppose I come late to a class by 10 minutes. So, I waste 10 minutes of my time. Now, 30 students who are in my class, they also lose 10 minutes each. So, 30 students lose 300 minutes. So, if 30 students lose 300 minutes, that means 5 hours is lost, 5 hours and 10 minutes. 5 hours my students have lost and I have lost 10 minutes. So, you can imagine how punctuality is affecting so many and how people are losing time. If you are not punctual, you will not be reliable also, because people will not believe. Or he has said normally does not keep time, he has no sense of time. So, people do not respect you, do not respect your commitment to time, and you are also not respecting other people's. So, punctuality is something which is to be cultivated right from childhood, right from childhood. It is a way of life, and it is very wisely said that a busy man has time for everything, a lazy man has none. It is a question of management, how you organize yourself, how you do the plotting, and how you allot time for all that you want to do. You see, some people do more than others. Day is 24 hours for him, 24 hours for you. If he is doing more than you, or he can do more than you, even your friend, that means he is definitely managing his time well. Somewhere you are not able to manage your time. So, that is why you are getting less out of 24 hours, he is getting more out of 24 hours. So, it is a question of management. This we will deal in greater details. Accountability. You must be remember that it is linked with responsibility and accountability. They are two things, not two things, but only two sides of a single coin. Accountability is you are accountable for something. Say a teacher is accountable, if he is teaching in the class, he is accountable that his students generally understands what he is teaching. Suppose I am an accountant, I am accountable for correctness of totaling. If I cannot total properly and I say, oh, the computer made a mistake, I did not make a mistake, is it possible? While feeding the computer you must have made a mistake, otherwise how there can be a mistake? So, many people do not take responsibility. They try to pass on the responsibilities to somebody else. They try to pass on the accountability to somebody else, put the blame on somebody else. You must be accountable. Whatever you are doing, whatever is assigned to you, you are accountable to. Suppose I am a security staff, I have to see that the cars which are coming to my office, to our office, are parked properly. That is my responsibility, I am accountable for it. If it is in a disorganized manner, think of a supermarket in Delhi, and in some places the rule is that the person who parks his car, he will either keep the car in neutral gear or hand over his keys to the parking watchman. So, in a small place so many vehicles are. Suppose your car is in front of somebody else's car, the back car fellow comes and he wants to go out. So, if your car is in neutral gear, then they can move the car without opening and starting the engine, and his car can come out easily. So, you are everywhere, people have responsibility, some work is assigned to them and they are accountable for that work. Respect for others. This is a very important trait in work ethics. If we do not develop respect for each other, if I do not develop respect for my colleague, for my boss, if I am suppose client also, when I am selling something or in some, I am a doctor and a patient has come, the patient is also my client in a way because he pays for my services. I have to learn to respect everybody. Even at your home, you must learn not only to respect your parents, but also your younger brothers. Somebody maid servant is coming to clean your vessel, you must develop respect for her. Everybody is an individual. We have discussed under citizenship, we have discussed under constitutional values how it is important. But time and again I have been telling you, these are the things which are life skills which are to be practiced, not just read in the schools and colleges. And cleanliness, we have already discussed cleanliness, we will again discuss it, cleanliness. Rational thinking also, we will also take up rational thinking in greater detail because it is a part of your course. That is, let me repeat, punctuality and time management, cleanliness, law abidingness, rational thinking and scientific temper. All these are prescribed. So, we will discuss these things. So, rational thinking is that there must be an argument for whatever I do, whatever I do. It cannot be irrational. I feel this way, that is why I will do this like this way. No, no. You must think systematically, you must know the rules and regulation, you must know the technique of doing it. When whatever profession you have some knowledge base and you require that knowledge base and you think based on your knowledge. Okay. So, we will take it up in greater detail with examples. Now, let me come to general characteristics of these virtues, these values. They overlap and move together. They are not isolated from each other. They are not isolated from each other. They overlap, like rationality, thinking, scientific thinking, they go together. Similarly, we say reliability, responsibility, accountability, these are all related things. It is not easy to isolate them. So, all these things move together. Work ethics is a dynamic concept. What is a dynamic concept? With change in time, things change. I have been telling you from the very beginning, these are ethics is dynamic. In one age, something is considered to be right, in another age, something may not be considered right. You think of say 200 years from today, a person who was killing a tiger was considered to be a hero. You go to many places, in some places in some old guest houses or even in somebody's home, you find in a king's house and all that, you find a tiger lying down, it has been killed and he is putting his leg on his head and holding the gun and standing proudly. For what? He has killed a tiger. Now, in those days, 200 years back, when tigers were a menace, there were many tigers and hunting was common, and if you are a hunter, you have gone hunting, you have hunted a tiger, it was a matter of pride. Today, tigers are an endangered species. They are almost dead. You can count how many tigers are there in India today. Sometimes it is less than 1000, certain varieties. You know, certain subspecies of tigers have vanished altogether from India. It has vanished. So, today killing a tiger is justified? No. It is unethical. It is a crime. You should be put behind bars if you kill a tiger. So, if the tiger comes out into the cities and creating some problem, then you have to inform the forest people will try their best to catch it. They will normally catch it, but they will not kill it, because it has become, it is an endangered animal. So, the ethics relating to hunting a tiger has changed over times. Do you understand? Now, at one point of time, using paper was common. We wasted a lot of paper, we were never conscious of paper. Today, with the dwindling bamboo forests and lack of raw material in bamboo and other things which goes into making of paper, people have become conscious. Now, if I can read it online, I will read it. I do not need to buy the book. I will buy the book, e-version of the book. I need not read a book physically. So, ethics changes. It is a dynamic thing. In change of time, technology changes, and once technology changes, naturally ethics is also changing. So many things are there. At one point of time, people did not realize that having a number of children is not correct. People were not conscious of high population. Today, many countries want to limit the population, not absolutely, but sustainable population. So, today sustainable population rate is 2.1 fertility per woman. If it falls below, then the number of people will get reduced. If it is very high, then in 20 years, 30 years, population gets doubled, and the earth has a limitation in supporting how many people it can. So, these are the things. Ethics is a dynamic thing. So, that is why it is a dynamic concept, and with change of time, with change of technology, you have to think twice. When society was predominantly agrarian, most people lived in villages. Joint families were the norms, and ethics was of the joint family. The father or the grandfather, whoever was the eldest male person in the family, he controlled the family. Sometimes eldest woman also controlled the family. Today, we have arrived at a nuclear family. Say there was a time when women were not working in offices. Today, women are working. So, the husband has also to share the work, because unless both share the work at home of upbringing the children, then one person cannot be expected to do everything. So, 40, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, when women were not working or working, hardly few were working, and there were grandmothers were there, grandfathers were there at home, the children were taken care by several people. Now, you think you are living in an urban area, in a metropolitan city. Now, both the father and mother have to take care of the kid. Ethics changes. Okay. So, agricultural economy had one kind of ethics. Then there was industrial revolution and industrial economy. There was one kind of ethics on many issues. Today, the economy is service sector economy. Agriculture has not vanished. Agriculture has been also industrialized, but majority of people are working in the service sector. So, economic changes, technology, methods of production, everything changes, and so also ethics is a dynamic thing. Every time you have to rethink what should be right, what should be wrong. It is not a permanent thing. Ethics emphasizes family values. That is very important. Family values. If 4 people are living together, what is a family? The family that eats together, lives together is a family. In anthropology, those who would have studied anthropology, if there is the people cook together and eat from one cooking system, then that is called a family. Normally husband, wife and children today, and sometimes grandparents are with you. Okay. So, if family is destroyed, then no amount of insurance will take care of you. Family is the best insurance. Family is the best insurance. So, family values have been dominating right from beginning of mankind. I told you that man has always lived together, and because it has lived together, there is ethics. Without living together, there is no need for ethics. There is a need for ethics because we have to take care of each other, we have to sacrifice for each other, we have to live together, we have to grow together. That is why family values are very important. ICT applications and gadgets call for ethical practices, new ethical practices. ICT is your computers, information and communication technology, ICT, and it is changing relationship. How? The ethics before mobile phone and ethics after mobile phone is so very different. Previously, we were writing letters or making trunk calls. You will not believe, the young generation of your generation, that there was a time when even in Bhubaneswar, for getting a trunk call, if say I was living in Bhubaneswar, my grandparents were in Koraput. So, if my grandfather wanted to talk to his daughter, there will be somebody who will come all the way from Capital Post Office to Unit 9 and tell that you have a trunk call, come down to the post office immediately and we will connect you with your father, he wants to talk with you. And one had to go to the Capital Post Office telephone exchange and they will connect you. They could connect my mother to her father so that they could talk. That was a time. Emergency telegrams were coming. Today, there is no need of telegram. There was a time for money order. Today, there is no need for money order. Computers have changed the world in many ways, but there is also ethics in that. What kind of ethics? You are into social media, you may be on the Facebook, you may have Twitter account, you may be into Instagram. Now, during office hour, sitting in the office, should you do Facebook? Ethics demands that you don't do that. Ethics demands that you don't do that. Suppose your office has a Facebook account and you are managing that Facebook, of course you will do that. Of course you will respond from a query from a friend in office Facebook, but your personal Facebook account, you will not use it during office hour. If people start using Facebook in the office without doing their office work, it results in indiscipline, it results in bad work ethics. Suppose similarly, you have come to a class, you have a mobile phone and you cannot keep it on or keep it or you must keep it in silence mode, otherwise how the teacher can take the class? The teacher is also expected to keep it in silent mode, is it not? It is not just applicable to the students. Now, what I am trying to tell you is that ICT demands lot of ethics. ICT demands lot of ethics. So, it is those ethical principles, what is right and wrong in use of telephones, mobile phones, computers, laptops and all other gadgets, tabs, they have some principles, how to use them, what to do, what not to do, and all these things are there. So, these things must be scrupulously followed, otherwise there will be confusion. Digital social media, online newspaper, TV and radio channels also demand certain values. What is that? I will not spread communal disharmony, I will not spread wrong news. Without verification, I will not write anything. So, you know, during communal riots and violence, people are forced, government is forced to jam your internet. Why? Because people are misutilizing it, they are utilizing it for spreading violence, they are utilizing it not for good things, but for bad things. Somebody's photo will leak and all sorts of things, is it not? So, that is very important that these new devices, social media is used with responsibility. It comes with responsibility, it is not without responsibility. Retaining the basic values of responsible journalism, social media ought to ensure that false or fake news are not spread. System of governance also change ethical practices. System of governance also changes ethical practices. Now monarchy was there. Monarchy was dependent on loyalty to the king. If the monarchy is to succeed, then the citizens are expected to be loyal to the king. But in democracy, it is not loyalty to the king, it is not loyalty to the politician. No, democracy has certain other values: justice, equality, liberty. We have considered them in the first chapter of the constitutional values, and then under patriotism we have discussed them. So, monarchy will call for one set of political ethical value, democracy will call for another. In democracy, you must go and vote. You are required to vote. Voting is your responsibility. If you are not in that place, you will choose for ballot paper through post office. Is it not? Postal ballot. So, but you must vote. Unless people vote, do not take interest. It is said that you may not take interest in politics. That does not mean politics does not take interest in you. Politics takes interest in you. Politics affects you. So, that is why if you want to be governed well, you have to vote. Justice for all remains. This is a great value which also is a value for work ethics. Monarchy imposed one set of values, democracy for its parts needs another set of values. So, by these I have generally introduced you all the values. Now, let us say talk about these values in Odia for 2 to 3 minutes. आशा आम ओडिया आमर 4-5टा भैल्यू आम डिटेली पढ़ा आमर सिलेबस रे जहाँ प्रिस्क्राइब होती कौन कौन पंक्चुअलिटी माने समयानुवर्तिता एवं समय को किपरि मैनेज करा जिवो है ता केमती समय को परिचालना करा जिवो से कथा आम पढ़ा टिके आउ टिके अधिक सफा सुतरा रखा विषय टिके पढ़ा आईन कहीं मानिबा से विषय टिके पढ़ा एवं जुक्तियुक्त भाव में चिंता करवा एवं वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिभंगी रु सब कथा को विचार करवा यही सब कथा पढ़ा किंतु अनेक गुड़े एथिकल वैल्यूज अच्छी एवं वर्क प्लेस रे से गुड़ाक सम्यक सूचना प्रथम दे दिया हो कारण से गुड़ाक विशद भाव में आलोचना करने आमको समय हेनी तेणु कहगला जे प्रथम कथा कहगला डिलिजेंस माने सुचारू रूपे कार्य करवा र ठ करके काम करवा नुह बुझल कि एवं प्रत्येक जिनस को ठीक भाव में समय नहीं करी जेमती हवा कथा सेमती करवा बुझल कि हाँ रोषे करवा आम चा डबा खोला छाड़देवा चीनी डबा खोला छाड़ी आर थर को देखला बेलू कौन है ना पानी पड़गला चाहे बा चीनी रे पिंपुड़ी लग ताल कौन रोषे घर ठीक से है कि व्यवहार कले डबाटा बंद कर खब बा अदा चामच तुम कॉफी रे भर्ती करदेल कॉफी पाउडर भिंडा हो गला बो जो देखिए तुम कॉफी करने कि बापा कॉफी करने को बाहर बो देखला बेलू कॉफी भिंडा हो जाए कारण पुत्रमणि को कन्या रत्न अदा चामच तादर भर्ती करदे तो कामटा सुचारू रूपे निखुण भाव में कर आवश्यकता अच्छे जेपरी घरे सेपरी ऑफिस रे जेपरी घरे सेपरी ऑफिस रे एवं आमे रिसोर्सफुल हवा माने जे गोटे जिनस करने जहाँ चाह दरकार ताकू रिसोर्सेस कह जाए धर चाह करने कौन कौन दरकार चापत्ती दरकार पानी दरकार नो कि चुली दरकार चा छांकवाई छंका दरकार चापत्ती दरकार इत्यादि इत्यादि ये सब है या तेणु एगुड़ाक जोगाड़ करदे जोगाड़ कर भिन्न भिन्न कथा अच्छे कौटी मिल कौटी अच्छी ताकू केमती रखा एवं निजे जाइए दरकार है आनिबा रिसोर्सफुलनेस एवं कनसाइंस गोटे मनरे भाव रहा दरकार जे मु ठीक करुँच काहाटू सर्टिफिकेट दरकार नहीं सर्टिफिकेट तो दरकार हो पारे किंतु प्रथमे निजटू सर्टिफिकेट दरकार जे मु उचित कार्य करुँच मोर गोटे औचित्य भाव अच्छे कौटा उचित कौटा अनुचित मु जानी एवं उचित भाव में कार्य करुँच रिलायबल रहा आम उपर विश्वास भाजन हम आम जदि ठीक समय कामटा करुवा आम जदि गोटे कथा देचे कथाटा को रक्षा करुवा ताहले आम विश्वास भाजन हो पार विश्वासभाजन होबा बहु आवश्यक एवं निजे प्रथमे कामटा करिवा पई आगभर होबा इनिशिएटिव नवा काम पई आगभर होबा हाँ सी ताकू सार ताकू कहतु देखा बाध्य कले मु करी आ कौन ना गाले देवा सेमिति नुह निजे आगभर होकरी सार मु एटा करदेवी यही जो मनोभाव से आगभर हवा कथा काम करने आगभर हवा व्यग्र हवा कथा व्यग्रता प्रकाश पाइबा कथा ता गोटे बड़ आवश्यकता सबु कामर सामाजिक मानवीय एवं परिवेश उपरे प्रभाव रही सबु कामर परिवेश उपरे प्रभाव रही आम एटी भी जो रेकर्डिंग करुचे तार भी परिवेश उपर प्रभाव हो कहीं ना मु इलेक्ट्रिसिटी व्यवहार करुँच इलेक्ट्रिसिटी तैयारी करने धर कोयला व्यवहार कराऊँ ताले कोयला व्यवहार कले प्रदूषण हो बुझल कि आज ये गरम हो आम सब एसी लगाऊे आम एसी सहर में जदि हजार हजार एसी लगुच तुमको भितर को ठंडा पवन छाड़ी बाहर गरम पवन से छाड़ जार एसी नहीं तापे अधिक गरम है एवं से जो अधिक गरम पवन हो जो गैस को एसी रे व्यवहार कराऊँ से ओजोन लेयर कणा कर दउछि तार प्रभाव अच्छे मु एसी व्यवहार कली किंतु तार सुदूर प्रभाव रही मु जो ईमेल रे जहाँ आसला है जदि निहाती दरकार नहीं थैंक यू अमुक समक गुड मॉर्निंग गुड आफ्टरनून जो आम व्हाट्सएप रे करुचे तार प्रभाव रही कारण टिके टिके इलेक्ट्रिसिटी व्यवहार कले पृथ्वी कोटी कोटी लोक 600-700 कोटी लोक गुड मॉर्निंग गुड आफ्टरनून जदि करुँच ताले केते इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रभाव व्यवहार हो तार प्रभाव रही घर पाखक आम चलिकी गले जोटा चलो सेटिकी आम स्कूटर रे जाऊे जरी रे बैग न नहीं कि जाऊे से दुकान रू गोटे जरी नहीं कि आसुचे जहाँ भी तुम कर तुम देखो जे तार प्रभाव रही परिवेश उपर प्रभाव रही मनीष समाज उपर प्रभाव रही एवं तुम उपर मध्य प्रभाव रही तेणु से कथा विचार करिवो आउ जदि श्रृंखला रक्षा न करिवो बिना श्रृंखला रे तुम जीवन श्रृंखलित हो नहीं कि ऑफिस श्रृंखलित हो नहीं तेणु जोटी आम काम करुचे बा कॉलेज रे पाठ पढ़ुचे सेठी श्रृंखलार घोर आवश्यकता रही प्रोडक्टिविटी मु जदि आज सुधा एतिकी रिविजन करवा कथा मु कली नहीं कि गणित बहीर 10टा अंक कषिबा कथा मोर आज टार्गेट रही सेमती ऑफिस रे मध्य टार्गेट रही तेणु मोर प्रोडक्टिविटी कौन निजको निजे विचार कर अन्य मान सहित मिलमिशि काम करने को शिखा जदि आम कर्मक्षेत्र में स्कूल कॉलेज सबुठी खाली कली कतरा लगे परस्पर को साहाय्य करवा नहीं ताले आमे भल काम करें इंटीग्रिटी निजे सचोट रहा सचोटटा खाली पैसा पत्र खाइबार नहीं सबु विषय सचोट पणिया रक्षा कर आवश्यकता अच्छे प्रोफेशनलिज्म माने आमे जो प्रकार चाकरी अच्छे से केते ठीक भूल केते उचित अनुचित रही मो पाक मु जड़े डाक्तर मो पाक जड़े पेसेंट आसकर केते व्यक्तिगत मामला मु जानिली ताकू प्रकट करिविनी मु अन्य को कहबिनी कहले तांकर विश्वासघात हेले मु नो कि तेणु से भाया कथा है एटा को धर मु जड़े शिक्षक परीक्षा खाता मु देखुची उत्तर लिखि नहीं मु मार्क दे दिली ठीक उत्तर लिखिची मु काटिकी शून्य बसईदेली ताले मोर जो दक्षता अच्छी जो विषय रे काम करिवार जो दक्षता अच्छी से दक्षता को मु बिट्रे कली से छुरी भुजिदेली मु जेमती काम करवा कथा मु जो कार्य अच्छी है जो प्रोफेशन रे मु अच्छी से प्रोफेशन को मु हत्या करुची हबनी तेणु मो प्रोफेशन रो मु शिक्षकता करे मु छात्र हो पारे मु जदि खेलुआड़ी मनोभाव रहा दरकार खेल हार जीत अच्छी निश्चित भाव में नुह कि आउ जदि आम टीम भाव में खेलनी फुटबॉल वाला हाँ खाली व्यक्तिगत भाव में खेलिए ताल केबे फुटबॉल मैच जीति पारे क्रिकेट मध्य निश्चित भाव में स्पोर्ट्समैन स्पिरिट रक्षा कर तेणु से भाया कथा अकाउंटेबिलिटी रेस्पेक्ट फॉर डाइवर्सिटी आम ऑफिस विभिन्न प्रकार लोक काम करेंगे हिंदू मुसलमान पुरुष स्त्री है यही सब जो भिन्न भिन्न व्यक्तिगत भिन्न थी भाषा भिन्न थाई पारे धर्म भिन्न थाई पारे जाति भिन्न थाई पारे लिंगभेद थाईपे यही जो विच्छिन्न विभिन्नता भितर काम करने को शिखिବାକୁ हम सफा सुतरा तो निश्चित भाव रखिବାକୁ हम एवं विज्ञान सम्मत चिंताधारा रखिବାକୁ हम ये सब गुड़ा कथा मिलमिशिकी चले एक आइसोलेट कर मु ठीक समय आसबि अथच मु लांच नेबी हम कि तो पंक्चुअलिटी किसी अर्थ रही बुझे से भाया वर्क एथिक्स गोटे डायनामिक कथा ये समय सहित बदली बदली चले गोटे समय रे बाघ मारिक शिकार करवाटा गोटे दृढ़तार एवं साहसिकतार परिचय दूसरा बर्तमान बाघ मारिवा अर्थ तुम्हें गोटे अन्याय करुच आईन अमान्य करुच एवं बाघ गोटे जो एंडेंजर्ड होकर रही पूरा निश्चिन्न हो जवार भय रही से प्रक्रिया को तुम आगे नहीं जाऊँ बाघ मारिवा द्वारा तेणु 100 वर्ष तले 1000 वर्ष तले बाघ मारिवाटा भल कथा ही पारे किंतु आज नुह से भाया टेलीफोन व्यवहार व्हाट्सएप व्यवहार जो 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 समय जमी कथा आसमी टेक्नोलोजी बदली जाऊँगी जिनस तैयारी कर पद्धति बदली जाऊँगी एवं तार व्यवहार नुआ नुआ व्यवहार आसुच्ची से अनुसार ये कौनटा ठीक भूल ता बदली बदली चलती एवं जहाँ आमर नैतिक मूल्यबोध सत कहवा रिलायबल हवा यही सब कथा जो सब रही नैतिक मूल्यबोध ताकू रक्षा करने नैतिक मूल्यबोध को जदि आम मानिबा नहीं ताले नीतिहीन हो जावा केवल स्वल्पमियादी लाभ को देखा ताहले मनुष्य समाज प्रति विपद रही जेतोले गणतंत्र आसूची जेतोले राजतंत्र थिला रजांग प्रति सम्मान रहिबा रजांग प्रति राजभक्ति रहिबा तार आवश्यकता थिला ता बिना हो पारिबनी किंतु वर्तमान थर गणतंत्र आसी गणतंत्र रे दायित्व है भोट देवा भोट नदेले तुम किपर तुम दायित्व निर्वाह कर तेणु ये गोटे गतिशील कथा नैतिक मूल्यबोध गोटे गतिशील कथा समय सहित किछि किछि बदली चले केते गोटे चिरंतन मूल्यबोध रही अन्य को साहाय्य करवा ये सब समय रही एतर किछि परिवर्तन नहीं पितामाता को सम्मान जणाइबा ये सब समय रही सत् उपाय जीविका निर्वाह करवा ये सब समय रही आम देख ए क्लास प्रथमे जो विभिन्न धर्मरू दर्शनरू आसवा नीति गुड़िक कथा कहले नैतिक मूल्यबोध कथा गुड़ा कहले से गुड़ाक चिरंतन एवं समय सहित ताकू केमती काम लगेगा ताकू केमती एप्लाई करवा व्यवहार योग्य करवा से टिके फरक आसुची ताकू समय सहित बदलैकी देखिए धन्यवाद।